So for Monster Week being themed around dragons, I thought it'd be perfect to see a really neat part of the lore of Neverwinter, which is Themberchaud, the dragon from the Dungeons & Dragons movie, is part of this recent event that is a sort of Easter-themed event. And we, in the first part of the quest, we go and we get a bunch of eggs. Then we turn them in, and then we come to this feast. And when we come to the feast, the hungriest of hungry fellas has shown up.
That's one pudgy dragon.
A colossal red dragon getting in the way.
Caladoran, help us! Themberchaud is going to ruin the feast!
Where in the Underdark are those adventurers?
I'm right here, dude. Yeah, so that's the idea.
Wish for a feast. I will be happy to feast on you, bite-sized morsels.
So there's Themberchaud. Everybody's cowering here, our two NPCs that we've worked with in the first part of the quest. So we've got to go face off against Themberchaud and defend these Verfneblin gnomes. Now, if you look at this, you can see this cavern is kind of reminiscent of the Underdark area that the heroes go to.
There it is, the hanging city of Dolben.
The helmet lies on the far side of this chasm.
But be warned, the bridge is protected by an ancient gnomish trap.
In the D&D movie, you know, within reason, they actually took a map that had been done before, but it feels a little bit like that gnomish area where they go to in the gnomish ruins, and of course these are gnomes that we're protecting, so there's some parallels here that they've tried to keep up, which is pretty neat. But let's go face off against Themberchaud, and what I'm going to do is I'm not going to just attack him. He's actually leveled down, so it's pretty easy because the point isn't to make this a super tough fight. It's more fun, and a lot of the time is just spent getting the eggs. But I'm going to let Themberchaud attack so we get to see kind of what Themberchaud does. Look at that chunky fella. So the first thing he does is swallow me up and spit me out. I guess I don't taste good. And then what else does he do? Kind of radiates, like a big explosive, pools of fire, and yeah, kind of roar, pushing me back. It stunned me for a bit. And you can see more pools of fire pushes me back. I'm just going to attack him once. You can see he's not particularly hard to attack. He will breathe fire at some point here, so I'm going to see if he does that. Yeah, big pools of fire, so you can see that. It's kind of different configurations he can do in his attack. Sort of tail swipe, roundabout kind of thing. And you can see just how big he is, right? It's really neat, the art of him. He's such a chunky fella. Let's see if he'll breathe on me. Yeah, there you go. So that's a big kind of breathing.
It's a dead end!
Fire, it didn't hit me, but swallowed my companion up and spat him out. So that's pretty much, I think we've seen kind of the general ideas. So now if I fight him, let's see that once I do, I think, yeah, half hit points, something like that, a little more. Yeah, he went into this gray, his health bar just turned completely gray and he cannot be defeated. And now we have to do something else. Toss the food from the cart into his mouth, which is really, and there he is, look at that with his open mouth. So we take a dish from the cart, which the chef does not want us to do, but it's what we should do. And we toss it at his mouth. And he's a little bit pleased. We have to do this up to 5 times. Sometimes the dishes count as more than one. We'll see, but it's so funny. 2, take another dish. And during this time, you know, you can't do damage to him by attacking him, so it's really just about chucking these dishes, which I find very hilarious, because he's such a hungry boy. Oh, there we go. 4 dishes and our last dish. Here we go. Half-orc barbarian chucks that dish in there and...
Those snacks were quite
still wants some fighting. Swallowed me up and tossed me again. So this will be the same kind of attack, so I'm gonna, you know, just kind of continue to attack him. Themberchaud. Really great looking. It's really fun to be able to attack him. So now that I take Themberchaud down again, we repeat this process one more time, because you know video games, you gotta go through and cycle it.
Quickly! He might leave us alone and toss the food from the cart into his mouth.
No! My dishes! My lovingly prepared artisanal dishes!
I feel you. I cook. I'm the main cook for our family, and I wouldn't want someone tossing my meals into a dragon mouth, so yeah, I get it. I am absolutely a huge fan of the D&D movie. I find it to be just so perfect. I don't know how many times I've seen it, but a lot. And now he rolls off, which I think is hilarious. Look at that.
not worth the effort to eat.
Oh, sure.
Adventures are far too stringy, not worth the effort to eat.
Is
Great.
ruined!
Yeah,
Well,
yes
we
it
can
is,
always
buddy.
go back to Protector's Enclave to try to gather more eggs.
And so you can see, you get a title here, Defeat Themberchaud 5 times as Mega Chonker. So all of these titles have been chonked themed. So the titles actually are, they're not titles really, they're achievements. And so if we go to the general category, you can see the first one was a fine boy. The third one was a hecking chonker. Then we have he chonk for the second, defeating him the second time, and hefty chonk for 4 times, and then this 5th time was mega chonker. So I don't know exactly how many of these there will be, but at least we are currently at 5 different achievements you can get for having defended the feasting halls. So this will of course trick me into doing it tomorrow so I can see whether I get a new title. Once we have saved the feasting halls, we can get back here and we get a reward from our friend Zinli.
Welcome, adventurer, like Halidor.
So this takeout box gives us a mechanical dragon egg of some kind and more rubies. And then if we want to, we can go and do for extra credit, we can go find more eggs.
Yeah.
So and that takes me to sort of what the beginning of this is. I wanted to start with the dragon and the fun of actually taking out Themberchaud. So now you've seen that, but if you want to know how this event begins, the first part of it is a kind of egg hunt. And let's see, in case you're curious, how it all began. So the way it works is you come over to this podium in the central Protector's Enclave, the heart of Neverwinter, and we meet Zinli Gemcutter, who is a Zwerfneblin gnome. And we can ask, how can I help? And the basic idea is that they're preparing a giant feast. The chef, Saltlick's Pot Stirrer, is creating a great feast in the honor of Calaudaran, the Lord of Stone. And this involves making an encrusted gem omelet. They live near the Dwergar city of Gracklstew, and it's a very dangerous area location, and they need these eggs that we can find to make this encrusted gem omelet. So we can say, yep, we'll gather those eggs, and you get a Feasting Halls takeout box, which is kind of funny. So this is the Firelook Fest Hall in North Dark, so part of the underground of the Underdark. And we're gonna make those, we're gonna get those eggs. You can ask why Gracklstew. Yeah, it's dangerous. They keep the red dragon Themberchaud there to light their forges, right? So digging into that lore of Neverwinter, you can find a lot of this in the product Out of the Abyss for D&D, which is kind of cool. So a nice use of that concept. And we can go here to meet the chef themselves. You can see they've set up this whole place here in the vent podium.
What do you want?
Nice guy. Where can I find the eggs?
In monster nests throughout the wilds of Faerun. I will mark possible locations on your map.
gem of egg detection that we get to tell us. So basically we're going to see these light beams that show where in an area you can find them.
Well, I'll work with what I get.
So yeah, need rare ingredients, these exotic eggs from various creatures from around the land. So, okay. And so we just get that quest, and then we can look at our map. And here you see the map of Neverwinter and all of these different locations. This is a looking glass zeroing in on this one little spot on the map. So this is the area of the map itself, the city itself. And we could go to different locations in the city or outside of the city. And anything that has a little egg marker has eggs there. And in fact, if you go to a bunch of them, you unlock a sort of egg hunter title. So the more of these you visit, you can unlock that if you really care about that. Most people probably won't. But let's take an example of a location that's pretty fun, which is called the Chasm. And so we'll go get some eggs in the Chasm. The Chasm is really neat in terms of the lore of the city of Neverwinter because it's where kind of forces of the spell plague infused with the far realm have created a giant rift in the part of the city. And you can see like just what this is like. We're actually already down in the rift, but the rift even goes lower and lower as we go. And you can see those blue rays. So these blue rays are new for the event. Those are showing us where we can go towards to end up finding eggs. And so I already know where these are. I did it before, so I won't get super lost, but you can see there the blue. And this just gives you a general direction of where to go to, but you end up kind of experimenting by heading in one direction or the other, and then you find where they are, which is kind of fun. We could, fight lots of monsters. So like, I'll do a different video someday on the Chasm because it's a neat location. But there are all kinds of far realm creatures that are here. But we need not fight them in general to get to the eggs unless we end up just mistakenly aggroing something. We can come over here and jump up. Oh, yeah, someone aggroed it. But you see there's this nest, and we get our eggs, and we can run away before these monsters aggro us. Alright, so yeah, you can see the state of this place. The Chasm is a very tumultuous area. I can go the long way. I can also just take a jump over here and jump over to the other area. So running through these ruins of this area of town, past all these plague-changed creatures, and get to this other blue ray, and I find my second nest. Great. Fantastic. And then I'll go get my third one, and as I go there, I'll just say that different zones have the eggs in harder or easier places to get to. Sometimes they really require like a little bit of skill in jumping to a particular place. Sometimes they're spread out very far. So I like the Chasm because everything's really close together and you can do it really quickly. Plus it's just a neat looking place. And so it's fun to come back to a zone that I haven't been there. And that's one of the nice things about events like this is you can go to a part of the game that you didn't go to before. So we got the eggs in the Chasm. Let's go to the Well of the Dragons, which is another pretty easy one. Well of the Dragons was featured in Horde of the Dragon Queen, or Tyranny of Dragons. Really fun adventures, and this is where the end comes together, where Tiamat is planning to rise out of that temple off in the distance. But in our case, we're just going to run through. We're not going to fight any dragons or other cool things like that now. But you can see lots of little dragons and creatures around here. All the different cultists who are, drake handlers and things like that. Really cool. I have a video that's on this area full of draconic themed foes that you fight against. The cultists are really neat. They all have different cool themed abilities tied to the type of dragon they represent. Like the black dragon cultists, will drip acid when they attack you and things like that. But in this case, we're just gonna, again, ignore most of the combatants we could go, such as that Thayan Evoker, and we're just gonna go through the beautiful landscape, ignoring things like encounters, and heading straight towards the next location. This one is right by the Temple to Tiamat, which is really neat looking. I love this map. I just think the map's absolutely gorgeous. So cool. The neat desert landscape and the cool cultists and this impressive Tiamat draconic themed location. We're not going to go inside and fight Tiamat. We're going to get our egg here. Lots of people are here doing this because of the benefits that are involved in getting you get a draconic egg. You can get different draconic eggs, and as you collect all different types, put them together, and you can make one super egg that gives you benefits, or you can have little draconic companions, depending on how you go about it. It's always neat, the different skulls. The lore of this place, as I talk about in my lore video, is that this is a burial ground where dragons were drawn to this area, and so it has a lot of draconic power from all those dragons that have died here over the years. But now that we've got our 6th egg, we did 2 different zones, a total of 6 eggs, and we can go back to give the chef his items that he needs, the eggs he needs. So here we are in the city of Neverwinter, featured in the D&D movie, and Protector's Enclave is part of it. This area does not particularly look like the movie. You can see it's a lot less like lower level buildings, and but you can see some of that building in the movie itself. The idea is that it had been fully restored, which in this game it has not yet been fully restored. So now we'll give this in.
There you are. It's been so long. I was wondering if we had to send out...
Alright, so he gave us some deep rubies in exchange. And then we get this here where we can now travel to the feasting halls. Oh, yay, a feast! Alright, so here we are for the feasting halls, which we covered in the first part. So I hope you enjoyed this tour of a small part of the lore of Neverwinter. Here, looking at these areas in the Underdark, maybe perhaps supposed to mimic the particular areas, these gnomish lands that we heard about in the movie. It's not exactly the same terrain, but it's still pretty fun and neat ideas that they've tried to reflect here, and just fun to see Themberchaud. So hope you enjoyed it, and enjoy dragons and more in Neverwinter and beyond.